article from the last newsletter seems to have raised a little furore.
Yeah, I think it was interesting because when stuff started coming through, I thought about, well, how did we come up with that article and where did it come from an ideas point of view? And I remember the three of us sitting there and discussing ideas, and one of them was based on people behaving really badly.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And,
first of all, I suppose the word. I mean, I know that people have different standards. It's a word which I personally wouldn't find particularly offensive, but that's not really the point. It reminded me, as you said, of the kind of dichotomy that there seems to be, or the divorce between what many people think goes on in the workplace and what is actually happening.
Oh, well, yeah, I think, it did come out of when we're in people's workplaces, working with different work groups, work teams. We hear a lot of stories, and some of the stories, are just, people shouldn't have to endure those sorts of behaviours.
No.
Some of the things when people are telling us about what's happening to them on a Sunday night or a Monday morning driving to work.
Well, yeah, exactly. When people are saying that on Sunday night, I start getting knots in my stomach because I fear the workplace, or... do you remember the woman who told us that she had to stop and have a cry in the car?
Yeah.
Before she could start work? Well, that's often because of the kind of behaviour that's described in the article. And it reminded me too of like 30 or 40 years ago when I started as an actor working in HR, because it was common for HR companies to hire actors as cranky customers numbers 1 to 10. In fact, that's what my friend used to call it, cranky customer gigs. And it was often the case that they were asked to censor the language so that you were told, as a performer, I want you to improvise this scene, but I don't want you to use the F word, and I definitely don't want you to use anything, more. But
what was the effect of that?
Well, often, because of the workplaces that we were in, that was completely divorced from the reality of the workplace. And so it was impossible to get buy-in from the clients who just went, you don't know what goes on.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy. You know what I mean? And it's not that you have to be effing and blinding in every scene for every customer. That's the whole...
It's quite different, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, that was the challenge for you and I when we got together about how we were going to do this work.
Yeah, well, exactly. We met quite a bit of resistance to sort of presenting it truthfully and realistically. But because we do the research in each workplace, it's not as if we go into a workplace using language which is inappropriate within that workplace. That's the whole point.
Yeah, we're generalising when we work with, say, a mine site versus when we work with a property management company. It's quite different. The scenes are different. The language that's used, because it reflects the language that's happening.
Although that can be surprising too, because like work that we've recently done in public libraries, for example, like the level of language and abuse that happens from the general public within that workplace is, most people wouldn't think that went on either.
Yeah.
But I think what it comes down to is, you said before we went on about how we're not trying to be sensationalist, or what we're trying to be is truthful.
Well, and I think the thing is what we're really trying to help people do now is we're kind of looking at behaviour, but we're looking at it in the context of what the neuroscience and social psychology. So what we're helping individuals understand, managers understand, is what is the brain science behind why these behaviours are happening, and how can you, as an individual, as a manager, influence more positive behaviours in the workplace, so that people actually don't, on a Sunday night, get knots in their stomach, don't have to have a cry in the work, because no one should have to endure their work. Everyone should have
and of course there's a bottom line to that. If I've got a toxic workplace, there's a bottom line. It costs money. Directly and indirectly, not just to the company, but to society as well. And I think that when you've got that combination that you just spoke about, when you do the research and you make the scenarios in particular realistic for that workforce, and you couple that with the neuroscience to explain some behaviours, that's an approach that works.
Well, and I think the thing is that we both said, and what just triggered when you were talking there, is actually we see ourselves as having an obligation and a responsibility to truthfully deal with what's going on, rather than go, oh, that's a bit difficult, it's not very nice, let's sweep it under the carpet. Actually, as a society, we actually have to be able to say, when the emperor has no clothes, the emperor has no clothes, and deal with it, rather than, and it's not fair if we go into organisations and don't truthfully help them solve the issues they've got. We just kind of token do something and go, there we go, thanks, bye. what? That doesn't make sense. So, yeah.
I agree totally, Dean. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Brian.